If you are looking to create bold RGB portraits and you're looking for a powerful light that you can add into your kit, look no further. Today, I'm gonna be reviewing the Neewer FS600C, and I'm gonna show you all how it fits perfectly into my 3-light kit to create dramatic, bold portraits. The FS600C is a 600 watt RGB constant light. So this is very powerful in the RGB constant light realm. I have also reviewed the CB300C and the FS300C, both by Neewer. So now we're stepping it up one more stop of light, because a stop of light is simply doubling the power of your light. So 300 watts for the first two. Now we are onto a 600 watt light. This is a very powerful and flexible light, as it does go through the full RGB spectrum. And of course, you can also use it in its bicolor functionality. I'm really trying to test and see, is this going to stand next to my other two RGB lights to make sure that it fits seamlessly into my 3-light setup, and also allow that little bit of extra punch when we're using it in its RGB functionality, because as we all know, you do not get the full 600 watts when you're shooting RGB. You don't get the full 300 watts when you're shooting RGB. So the more power you can get, the better saturated you can get those RGB colors. So let's hop right into it. Let's get these lights set up and let me show you all what I came up with. Are you ready to elevate your studio photography lighting? Well, look no further. The Master of Light bundle is now available. Click the link in my bio. We will go over 36 different lighting setups, ranging from your typical 1-light setup all the way to 6-light creative lighting portraits. We're also going to be going over things such as light ratios and how to meter your lighting, and we cover strobes all the way to constant light. So whatever your flavor is, we've got it for you. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get back to the content. So the first setup that I'm going to be utilizing the FS600C on, it's going to be a 3-light setup. And the way that I'm going to work it is like this. My key light is going to be the FS300C, and it's going to be in its bicolor functionality. So I'm going to have it set to 5600 Kelvin with a regular reflector. I'm going to feather it away from the backdrop, as well as utilize some V-flats as well. So that way it's not cutting into my RGB too much, because as we stated in the beginning, you're not really going to get a full output of your light when you're using RGB, so I need them to be as uninterrupted as possible. I'm going to pull my subject forward ever so slightly, because I'm not doing a ton of full body shots, and I'm going to feather that light away. That way it's not spilling too much onto my backdrop. The next light that I'm going to set up is going to be my CB300C, and that is going to be one of the lights that is going to be working with my backdrop. And the way that I'm going to utilize this light, it's going to have a snoot on it, and that snoot is going to allow me to shoot the light in a specific direction, because what I'm going for here is pockets of RGB light mixed in with like pockets of complete darkness. So like black pockets where we can really crush the blacks and create this very contrasty and dynamic shot without having to have an edge light. So my second light is going to be that CB300C. It's again going to be set up toward my backdrop, and it's going to have a snoot on it shooting one of two colors. It's either going to shoot orange or it's going to shoot blue. Those are the two colors that I'm kind of working with these two shoots. Last and finally, I'm going to have the FS600C, and that one is going to be set up on the opposite side of my backdrop, and that one is going to be acting as the opposite color. So it's also going to play with blues and oranges. And the reason why I wanted to bring this one in with a snoot as well is to see, okay, if the CB300C is not giving me everything that I need to give me, can the FS600C pick up that slack and really kind of be that light where if my key light is bleeding onto the background, it still does its job? I would have to say absolutely yes. And I didn't push it all the way to 100%. Why didn't I? My friend and I have used the snoot before on a 600 watt light, got a little steamy. So I decided not to push it all the way to 100%. I was working around like that 85 to 90, sometimes even 75% of that light. And all I was doing, specifically on the first shoot when they were both blue, I was moving them around as I was shooting, so I could create, the goal was to create like a few different styles of lighting with the blue. And I'm going to play around with different modifiers, because I think something like a spotlight with some of the gobos would have been a really good addition, you know, kind of making it a little bit fuzzy. That way I can get some, not cleaner, so I can get some more kind of like frizzied edges on the colors in between the black. But in a case like this, that's how I was using the light. I had my key light on my subject, and so it was just really kind of giving like a face, a little bit of body illumination. I wasn't really trying to drop it all the way down to the floor, because again, we wanted this to be extremely dramatic. And when I say dramatic, I mean extremely dramatic, high contrast, crushed blacks, all that kind of deal, and then kind of utilizing the two different lights in the background. The CB300C was at one point my favorite light, and it's still top 2 lights, period. I love a plug and play. I love how it can go through the full RGB spectrum, and it just emits great color. So now, with having the FS600C opposite of that light and still having another RGB, in the event that I want to do some type of tricolor backdrop, which I will do soon. I will do a tricolor backdrop soon. But in having the ability to add that FS600C in there and really know that I have full capability, anytime I use the CB or the FS300, I'm always at 100%. 100% saturation, 100% output, because I need that in order to battle my key light. But now, having the FS600C, I'm able to play around with my levels. I can kind of, okay, maybe I want this one to be a little bit more dim. Maybe I don't want it to drag onto the ground, so I'm gonna kind of feather it up a little bit. But because I can use a little bit of extra power, I can pull it back and allow it to illuminate more of my backdrop now. So those are the kind of things I get to play with now, having the FS600C in my lineup. The second way that I'm going to be using the Neewer FS600C, this is going to be in a 2-light setup, and I'm actually recreating one of my most viral YouTube videos / photos that I've ever created, and I'm going to be swapping out one of my strobes. The first time I did this, it was 2 strobes, so a strobe on the backdrop and then a strobe on my subject. This time, I'm going to continue using a strobe on my subject, but I'm now replacing that background light with the FS600C. And the goal here is to still get around about the same exact product. When I did it the first time, I shot at around f11, and I know I'm not going to be able to shoot at f11, and that's okay. But for this example, I'm using my FS600C. It's going to be on a baby C-stand, so the one that stays really low to the ground, similar to the one we use in our clamshell lighting setup. It's going to be pointed upward and at a diagonal, so it's going to diagonally spray a red hue onto my backdrop. I opted for a gray because I wanted it to be nice and saturated, and my key light, which is going to be on my subject, is a 600 watt strobe, and I'm going to be using it with a snoot. The reason why I'm using a snoot is because I want to pretty much just illuminate the face. I don't need it to fall down the body a ton, but I want it to illuminate the face. And when I tell you, I am so happy with the results of how this shoot came out. It was like a Halloween Morticia Addams type of vibe. So we had the rose going on, and she had on the long black dress. But the first thing I did was made sure that she was silhouetted. So I got her nice and silhouetted with the red just kind of really saturating the background, pulled her forward as much as I needed to, and then I added in my key light. A couple things to note here. One of the biggest reasons why I swapped the strobe for the constant is because of the RGB granular movements. It's a little more difficult to get granular with gels on strobes. However, you can get a little bit more output, but it is very hard to get granular. I love how with an RGB light, I'm able to just set the light down and get going. Tune in the RGB that I want, and I just hit the road and I'm good to start shooting. And this for me was like a really good test to see if that output was really worth it, because I have tried this with the 300 watts and it's good. But like I said, I like to shoot higher, that f.5.6, f8, try to get, up in that range. So this is a very, very, very solid outing for this light right here specifically. And this is how I know it is going to continue to be in my bag. So in conclusion, I am very much impressed by the Neewer FS600C. And who do I think this is for? I think this is a great addition for anyone who constantly does studio work, someone who might need a powerful RGB light in the studio for one, but also someone who might want to utilize this light for its 600 watt capabilities, because I've used it now multiple times where it just shoots into the wall behind me, global fill, y'all already know, and it's utilizing its global fill. Because the 600 watts is so powerful, I can put this bad boy right onto like a V flat or, a white wall right behind me, and it's gonna light the room. Now, if you're someone who's constantly on location, then I don't necessarily think this is the best light for you, because it cannot be powered via V-mount. You're going to need some sort of power source. If you do have a power source, then cool. But if you don't, I don't necessarily think this is going to be the light for you. But if you're someone that's in the studio and you need a powerful, constant RGB light to add to your kit, this is the way to go. It's very good for those of you that are shooting both photo and video, or if you're like me, you work with someone who shoots video and then you shoot photos. So as you all know, I've been trying to build out my kit to have a more powerful light output in the constant department, and this fits that bill. If you are looking to elevate your lighting game, whether it comes to strobes or constant lights, click the link in my bio. We're having a Black Friday sale right now, actually. Everything on the website is 50% off. So go ahead and check out that Master Light bundle or any playbook that fits your bill. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video.